So I would like to call to order the Brandywine Heights Area School Board meeting for May 5th, 2025. Could we please all rise for Pledge of Allegiance? Could I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Eisenberg?
Here.
Mr. Hefner?
Here.
Mr. Hohenfeld?
Here.
Mrs. Hune?
Here.
Mr. Reitenauer?
Here.
Mr. Sheets? Sorry. Mr. Stubitz?
Here.
Mrs. Walliser?
Here.
Mr. Wagaman?
Here.
All right. Thank you again. Apologize for those that have been waiting. We did have an executive session and it ran us over a little bit. So appreciate everyone coming out this evening to the school board meeting. We have a lot of recognitions and retirements to acknowledge here in the beginning of the meeting, and we are excited to do that. The first recognition is part of our graduation ceremony. And our graduation ceremony, Brandywine Heights Education Foundation, is going to be supporting. It's a new foundation. If you're not familiar with the Education Foundation, their goal is to raise funds to go back into the school system and fund things that otherwise maybe the tax dollars don't fund. And so the Education Foundation this year is going to be sponsoring the rental of the Kutztown University facility for graduation. So that's an awesome recognition. They have previously did other donations. They're going to be sponsoring Camp Spark, which is a summer learning program, and did a significant contribution to that 2 meetings ago. So we're very thankful for their partnership and in this case, their support of Kutztown University and paying for that rental fee. Additionally, the Perk Up truck, which is a small business in the community, was at one of our school district events, and she took the proceeds and donated those proceeds back to the school district to help offset some of the costs for graduation, and that's going to be paying for the cost of printing for this year's graduation programs, which is again very nice. So, both thank you to both of those organizations, and we will be sending correspondence out to them. Switching gears, we are going to invite Mr. Pinelli. Mr. Michael Pinelli is our new athletic director. We have some very exciting recognitions this evening that are particularly connected to our athletic program. So, Mr. Pinelli, I'm going to turn it over to you.
that we will turn on the microphone now. We do have other new school record holders, and if they wouldn't mind standing, Janelle Nova is our new women's record holder in the 100-meter dash. She just set that last week on Wednesday. And then earlier in the year, the boys 4x100 meter with David and Shane Bates. You guys could stand again, please. Along with Freddie Sahadek and Caden Kauscher, set the new boys record in the boys 4x100 meter. And yet we still have county championships to go, and we have districts to go. And for those who make it past districts into states, so there's plenty of chances for even more records to be broken. So that's great, and I thank you all. But I did want to take a moment to also thank the board and thank Mr. Pinelli and Mr. Pottinger and everybody who's put the hard work into getting our new track and new stadium. I appreciate it, and I know while we would have loved to have had it this year for the track team, I do appreciate it, and I do think it was the right decision for you guys to put the thoughtful concern and go for the all-weather surface for the soccer team and the field hockey team. That is going to be a great addition to the community, and it's going to help a lot more students excel far beyond just the track team. So I appreciate all the hard work and dedication that you guys have done for that. So thank you all. And I think they deserve a round of applause for that. Thank you. Not an easy decision, and thank you. And Mr. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, and since we're done with we'll stick around for the sports awards, but later there's some stuff for kids in the track team to celebrate the award stuff right outside the room here. Some treats, whatnot.
Thank you, Gene and coaches. Those who don't know, track and field is one of our biggest teams. And as you saw, we have 3 outstanding coaches, and our coaches do a phenomenal job. Track and field, there are plenty of events, plenty of specialties, and that group of coaches right there do a phenomenal job of leading our young athletes, right? And success, these awards are great, but they're leading them to be great people, great men and women in the community. So again, coaches, thank you. Can't thank you enough for that. Our last recognition is going to be for one of our baseball athletes. Would Matt and his mother please come on up? And Coach Kolb. Matt is getting an award tonight where a milestone in baseball. Those who are familiar, he's a pitcher. And then it's 3 strikes and you're out. Well, Matt has made that 100 times in his career. He did that versus Ole. First time we beat Ole in how many years? Long time. It was a great win on April 21st. He had 13 strikeouts to get his 100th career strikeout. So, Matt, congratulations on the 100 career strikeouts. Want to say a few things?
On behalf of the coaching staff and the entire baseball team, I'd like to congratulate Matt on getting his 100th strikeout. To get 100 strikeouts in baseball at the varsity level is a big accomplishment. It's a big deal. Matt's one of the better players in the county. He's also going to be continuing his academic and athletic career next year at East Stroudsburg University, where he's going to pitch there as well. So he has a very bright future ahead of him too. One other thing about Matt, just to show you not only what type of player he is, but also the type of person and leader he is for our team. He's a captain on our baseball team. He was also a captain on our baseball team last year as a junior. And the players vote for, our captains. And in my time here at Brandywine, it's a rare thing to have a junior being voted as a captain. So not only is he a great baseball player, but his teammates recognize that, and he's also a great leader for our team as well. So congratulations again, Matt.
Let's get a picture. Thank you again.
Perfect. So this is we love this part of our school board meeting because we can recognize great kids like that, great athletes. We also have an opportunity this evening to recognize some of our students that attend BCTC. There's something called Skills USA, which is a national competition that is broken down locally at the state level. And we have 2 students that from our BCTC program from Brandywine that go to BCTC that competed in the Pennsylvania program that placed. And so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dinch to do some very important recognitions here.
I'm going to call them both up. Brandon and Owen, can you guys come up here, please? And so, and we're going to acknowledge that. Oh, If anyone's not familiar with the way that the Skills USA works, BCTC students have an opportunity to participate in these organizations to represent their programs, as Mr. Pottinger said, at the local level and then the state level. And this year, the state level competition was in Hershey back in April, I believe, the beginning of April. And we've had more students that representing Brandywine Heights than ever participating in Skills USA. But this year are so honored and proud to have Brandon, who placed first place overall in the state in diesel technology. And then Owen, who placed third in recreation and power equipment in that Skills USA competition. So let's give them a round of applause first. What I don't think they would share is what goes into these competitions. It's nearly completely blind. You go into your testing arena or with your chosen field, and there's any number of things that they could ask you to do or achieve in your given discipline. And so it could be anything from diagnosing issues with that equipment to making sure that it's safe. Some of the pieces, they always speak to it so much better than I do, but what they're asked to do almost cold, right? When you go into these competitions and what they come out with on the other side. And then I know Brandon especially has been able to win tools, and there's college opportunities, and now is going to be able to represent Brandywine Heights in June at Nationals in Atlanta, I believe it is, if he chooses. And so it's just such an unbelievable opportunity to not just help feature what these guys have done in program, but then ultimately overall what they do, you know, as they're moving into their future paths. And so just honestly so proud of what they've been able to do, and wishing you luck, you know, in the future there.
So again, always love this opportunity to recognize our kids. Congratulations to both of you guys, Owen and Brandon. It's great to see you guys. I was your principal when you were like this. And now you're doing amazing things, winning state competitions. Awesome. Great. Congratulations, guys. Really proud of you. Switching gears, we also have the opportunity to recognize 3 staff members this evening that are going to be retiring at the end of this year. And so the first one I'd like to recognize is Mr. Brian Keeney. Mr. Keeney is a current high school teacher, our physics teacher. He's going to be retiring this year. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Ginge to come up and just share a few remarks. I don't believe Mr. Keeney's here as I scan the room. So I'm going to have Mr. Ginge, though, share a few remarks about Mr. Keeney.
Sure thing. Hello again. Mr. Keeney teaches a pretty challenging discipline in what is physics. Science is sometimes so compartmentalized, whether you're in earth sciences or you're doing your environmental pieces, chemistry, biology, and physics is such a tough and challenging concept to sometimes get the students' head around. And so you really want to make sure that what you're doing is engaging, and obviously that the kids are really getting into what it is they're doing so that they can apply what they're learning in class. And I think that Mr. Keeney, more than anything, kind of embodies making sure that he is getting everyone involved and doing everything. Sometimes you go in and there are things flying around. Sometimes you go in and there everybody is huddled around the same kind of laptop looking at a demonstration, and the way that he applies what he is trying to convey to the students and gets them some hands-on opportunities has been a really, really excellent part of our teaching staff for the last 3 years. So wishing him the best in retirement. Sorry you couldn't be here with us this evening.
A retiree that is with us this evening, though, is Mrs. Cindy Rissmiller. We have 2 retirees from the elementary school. Cindy has been a longtime employee with us. Coming up here, Cindy. This is an awesome opportunity. From a lady that taught my brother, and my father was her first homeroom dad, mom, to someone that has just contributed her entire professional career here, supporting so many opportunities, so many kids. I'm going to turn it over to Steph to say a few words, but Cindy, it has truly been a pleasure to work with you. You were a mentor for me when I started as a young principal. It's been a true pleasure.
I have to write down everything I say out loud here. It is both an honor and a joy to recognize someone tonight who embodies the heart and spirit of our Brandywine Heights community, Mrs. Rissmiller. I've had the privilege of working alongside of her for the past 17 years, first as a fellow second grade teacher, also teaching her daughter Charlie one of those years, and also as her principal. Through all of these roles, I've seen firsthand the consistent dedication and enthusiasm she brings to everything she does. For 37 years, Mrs. Rissmiller has shaped the lives of students with compassion, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Whether she's coaching our youth cheerleaders, coordinating our Ready Set Read after school program, or simply offering encouragement or humor to anyone in the building, she leads with positivity and purpose. Her presence is a steady force in our elementary school, and her impact is lasting. She's not just a teacher, she's a mentor, a coach, a team player, and a role model. Our school is better because she's in it. Thank you, Cindy, for all you've done to our school to help support me and all of the, I would say at this point, thousands of students that have been under your care. So congratulations on this next exciting step. Of course.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say thank you very much. I have enjoyed all 37 years of my career here at Brandywine. It was a real pleasure to graduate from Millersville and be able to come back and work in my home district. I have had great administrators to work with. I have made friends with a lot of colleagues. They have been my colleagues, but they have been my friends as well. I've met many wonderful families and students, and it probably is over 1,000 students if you count first graders and second graders and cheerleaders.
Yes.
So it has been a pleasure to work here, and thank you to the Brandywine School Board for always being so supportive of teachers and students, and being a real advocate for education in our community. So thank you. Thank you all very much. I'm excited and happy. I think maybe on the first day of school next August, I might shed a tear or two.
You want to keep
joy.
busy? Volunteer.
But thank you. Thank you again.
And Cindy's joined by her husband, her family. this evening.
You want to take it? I'm also here to recognize Mrs. Womack, who we did last month for her New Heights Award. She's unable to join us, but still important to recognize her retirement tonight. As you know, from last month, I shared how incredible she is, but I really wanted to just remind everyone here the impact that she had over the last 19 years in our district. From the ground up, she launched our STEM program and molded it into the model class with lots of fellow schools coming to see what we do, how we do it. What makes her work remarkable isn't the curriculum she's designed and revised over the time. It's just her presence and who she is as a person. She brings kindness, patience, and enthusiasm for the creativity process to every lesson. And the students are really supported when they are in her classroom. They genuinely love going in there and just letting their brains go wild with the support and encouragement from Mrs. Womack. She's already working with our new Explore teacher to make sure that the transition is seamless, and has offered tons of support, future support, to make sure that our program is still in really good hands. So I'm so grateful to have her launch this program, and still excited to have her connectedness to it, even on her way out the door. So she's definitely going to be missed.
So again, awesome opportunity to recognize our retirees. 37 years again, Cindy. Huge congratulations. That is awesome. We do have plaques for our other two staff members. We'll make sure we get those. Switching gears, final recognitions receiving. At every board meeting, we like to recognize two staff members that are essentially like our employees of the month. We call them New Heights Award winners. Every month, there's several individuals, several staff members that are recognized for various reasons, what they do to go above and beyond. And tonight, we're going to be recognizing two of those staff members. The first one is Melissa Mullis. So if I can have Melissa come up here. Congratulations. So this is why Melissa was recognized. It says, Mrs. Mullis goes above and beyond to make sure her students succeed every day. She was a phenomenal teacher and a very good communicator, working with all our families. Thank you for all you do. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Romberger to share a few more accolades.
Thank you, guys. I kind of had a prepared speech, but honestly, I felt it'd be kind of better from the heart now that I'm thinking about it. Honestly, just the spirit she brings every day. She's always smiling. She's always happy. She's always bringing that great positivity to the hallways and the classrooms. And then those relationships she forms with students, it really shows her dedication to really their success and working with the families and coordinating with the students. Because as you guys all know, it's just one half of the equation to really work with the students. You also have to work with the families to be able to build that bond. And that's something that she just does so strongly. So I can't say enough good things about you, and everything they said was true and then so much more. So thank you for absolutely everything you do. You're a pleasure to have here every day. And we're just so thankful to have you.
Yeah, please.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, especially the board. This has been a very challenging year for me, but knowing that I have you as my second family and you've been backing me up the whole time, it's really helped me get through this year. And I'm so excited to be back with everybody. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So our next recipient is Miss Christine Miller. Come on up, and I'm going to invite Miss Doguerico. Where'd she go? There she is, up here as well. Congratulations. So Mrs. Miller is one of our food service managers. She is the food service manager of the intermediate middle school. She just took on that role about 2 months ago, but has been a longtime employee with us. Always has a smile on her face. No matter what's going on, I can always go to the cafeteria, and she is such a beam of happiness. But this is why she was recognized. Mrs. Miller is the best cafeteria leader there could ever be. She goes above and beyond every day to make sure that the students have what they need. She is a phenomenal person. And it says it's from one of our students. So even our students recognize you.
Hi. So I feel like you were just here. Paige said our goal is to have you guys here every month. But no. But I did have a speech as well, but I think I would laugh if I read it word for word. But honestly, you joined us in 2011. So you've been here a little while. But you recently just stepped into the role as the head cook right after Christmas. So I said it was like a Christmas gift for us, kind of that breath of fresh air. And you've honestly made such a remarkable impact ever since, not only to the students, but also to the staff. We always say you have that dynamic duo with your oven goddess friend, Sue. But obviously, you know, you were recognized at the state level, but also here as the New Heights Award winner. So we thank you for that. And even before you stepped in the head role, your mind was always going of things that we can improve. A survey just went out of, things we can do to get the kids, to participate. So you really are that high achiever in our kitchen. But really you just go above and beyond with the basics, making those thoughtful adjustments on, really learning what the students' preferences are. You're always engaging with them. And that's something that I know I appreciate, Paige appreciates, and obviously the students appreciate. So the one standout that I've heard about is this new sandwich box option. So that's a lot of words. But really the goal is to make meals more appealing and accessible to the intermediate middle school kids. So really just thank you for your efforts, and I hope that you continue to do just that. So congratulations.
We're gonna get a picture if that's okay. Congratulations. Thank you. So with that does end our recognitions for the beginning of the school board meeting. If you were here for recognitions, you're more than welcome to stay, but you don't have to. Do appreciate everyone coming out this evening. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Student board representative report. Lauren Stout.
So to start off in the high school, on April 25th, the band and choir performed after school for the senior citizen concert. And then on April 29th, the full spring concert performance took place and was a very successful night of great music. Students are looking forward to prom, which will be this Friday on May 9th at the Astor Event Center in Allentown. The theme is A Night Under the Stars. The Fine Arts Banquet and Awards Ceremony will be held on Tuesday, May 13th at the high school to honor the senior music and art students. Signing day for senior athletes who plan to continue their sports in college will be taking place on May 20th. The spring sports banquet is also fast approaching for athletics. This will be taking place on May 29th. Many students have been studying for the Keystone exams that will be taking place at the high school from May 30th through the 16th, May 13th through the 16th, and May 20th and the 21st. Students have also been preparing for the various AP exams that are being held at the high school starting today, May 5th, and ending on Friday, May 16th. And finally, graduation for the senior class of 2025 is also fast approaching. Graduation rehearsal will take place on May 28th. Senior awards and recognitions will take place on May 9th, and then graduation will be taking place on Monday, June 2nd. The last day for all other students will be Tuesday, June 3rd. And then I handed out tickets to graduation for the school board members, and I have a note from our guidance counselors, Ms. Usella and Mr. Baker, and the senior class advisors. We are pleased to extend an invitation to you to attend the upcoming Brandywine Heights graduation ceremony, which will take place on Monday, June 2nd, 2025 at Kutztown University in the Opaque Fieldhouse. The ceremony will begin at 6:30, and we will be honored to have the members of the school board join us as we celebrate the accomplishments of our graduating seniors. This event will be a memorable occasion marking the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and growth for the students of the class of 2025. Your presence would mean a great deal to the graduates and their families, as it would symbolize the support and commitment that the board has shown to their educational journey. We look forward to the possibility of welcoming you to this special event, and thank you for your continued support of the Brandywine Heights students.
Thank you.
So Mr. Baker and Ms. Usella are the new graduation school teacher representatives this year. It used to be for a long time Mrs. Pristash and Mrs. Johnson, so they switched that over. So good opportunity. Thank you.
A quick question about graduation. So we've never had tickets before, or at least not that I recall. Help us understand, are we not welcoming anyone who wants to come?
No, we yes, no.
Let me ask you differently. Do you need a ticket?
You need a ticket, but you can have as many as you would like. So we started off with 10. The reason we had to do tickets is we're going to be in the field house again, and we had to purchase chairs. And so we just had to know like how many students needed how many tickets, so we could just keep track of that. That was really the only reason.
But there's no limit for families who might be large or traveling, having people come in or whatever. Anybody who wants to attend can attend. They just need to say, I'd like to attend.
Correct.
Beautiful.
I never want to
like
hold a family member back, so it's open to anyone. Yeah. We just have, and if someone shows up and they don't have one, of course
they can stand.
They might have stands, but yeah.
Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you. Jenna.
In athletics, spring athletics are winding down and teams are preparing for the postseason. Baseball has a record of 4-13. They have 2 regular season games left. Tomorrow at home, they will face off against Antietam. It will also be their senior night celebration. Softball continues to have a winning record of 9-7. The team has a doubleheader tonight against Tulpahawken. They will be unofficial division champions if they win. Boys tennis has finished their season with a team record of 4-8. Boys volleyball has a winning record of 14-2, and their next home game is against Kutztown on May 6th. They will also be unofficial division champions if they win. Track and field athletes continue to achieve new personal records each week. Next up for the team is county championships. Trials will be held on May 8th, and county finals will be held on May 10th, both events taking place at Governor Mifflin.
Thank you. Kendra?
Good evening. In 8th grade news, they had their annual Gettysburg trip last Friday. Exploring the historic battlefields, our 8th graders learned more about the Civil War. 8th grade student council members also planted flowers today to brighten up our school for summer. The school talent show was held on the 1st, and our students were thrilled to show off their talents. The student council is taking a field trip to the Reading Phils game on the 14th. On Wednesday, a few student council members will help our athletes at the Special Olympics at Schuylkill Valley High School. On Friday, our ISMS teachers will be gifted luncheon for Teacher Appreciation Week. For our upcoming field trips, the 7th grade is taking a field trip to the Wildlife Conservancy on the 12th. 4th grade will go to Berks Nature Center on the 22nd, while 7th grade does their annual stream study on that same day. Our band and chorus will visit Hershey for the state competition on the 16th. The 3rd graders will spend a few hours at the ISMS on the 12th to meet their upcoming teachers and tour the building. Some activities that will help wrap up the year will include Field Day, which takes place on May 30th for IS and June 2nd for MS. The end of year ceremony will be held on Thursday, May 29th at 8 a.m. for middle school students and 2 p.m. for intermediate students. Finally, board members are invited to attend the IS Spring Concert, which will happen on May 8th, the middle school band concert, which is on the 14th, and the MS Choral Chorus, which will be at 7 p.m. on the 15th. Thank you.
Oh, you have quiz as well. All right, awesome.
For elementary school, they had a record attendance at Camp Kindergarten/orientation this year, with over 60 families participating. This event was held for the incoming kindergarteners to get them familiar with our school, fun learning activities, and some of our staff members. On May 12th, 3rd grade students will participate in Step Up Day. They will visit the intermediate school, participate in a band demonstration, a scavenger hunt, and join 4th grade classes to ask questions and eat lunch in the cafeteria with them. This is a wonderful transition opportunity for our students to see what is to come next year. On May 22nd, the ES will have their annual field day. At the end of the day, the Topton Fire Company will come out to spray the students with water from their fire hose. We are hoping for great weather.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there any public comment? Hearing none. Moving on to Board of Directors report. Can I get a motion in a second? Motion right now.
Second, Eisenkart.
Floor is yours, Mr. Potter.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Couple items under Board of Directors report and some different ones that we don't typically see. So just bear with me. We had the meeting minutes from last school board meeting. And my apologies, we need to have a date in there. So we will add that when we do the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve any questions about the meeting minutes from last meeting? Okay. We do have second reading policies, 236, 237, 239. No changes since last time. Any questions, suggestions on those before those get approved this evening? Those will become official meeting minute. Those will become official policy of the school district. We also have some first reading policies that I'd like to go through the board this evening. There's several that we kind of have cleaned up from throughout the course of the year here that kind of were lingering to keep us on schedule of our cyclic process here. 200 enrollments of students. No updates on that one. That's just kind of a check-in. Confidential communications to students, similar. No PSBA updates. No recommendations on our end. Searches policy. You're going to see somewhat of a similar trend here, but there is some updates on the searches policy. And again, the trend's going to be really connected to legal advice pertaining to the online world. And so this one has some search and seizure language about electronic devices and online communication. That is really the add to this. It goes in the purpose of this, as well as on the backside. When we get into the definitions, it includes electronic searches. And then it goes in some information about, in the event of an electronic search, the director of technology, Mrs. Connect, would be responsible for overseeing a search like that. So that is the updated language for searches pertaining to again, more electronic communication. You'll see a trend as I go through these. The next one, 249, bullying, cyberbullying. There was some updated language from PSBA on this. We merged kind of the PSBA language with what was there. That particularly goes to the discrimination harassment section on page 2. And essentially what it says is at the beginning of an investigation, if there seems to be any kind of concern about this bullying, cyberbullying being reported, that it could be a discrimination or harassment concern, then we would also run that as a Title IX investigation simultaneously. So that's what that language says. We have an 805.1, which is a relations with law enforcement. That has also some tie-ins with video surveillance, and it's the connection of law enforcement with using video surveillance, and that we can share those videos that we have of the school district with the video camera system with the law enforcement in conjunction with any kind of investigation that might be ongoing. So that's the clause that was added for the relations with law enforcement. And then finally, the acceptable use policy, that did have some updates as well. This had a clause particularly related to students, supervising students engaged in online learning, a second clause supervising students engaged in classroom learning, and then a clause about using geolocation tools. In the supervising students engaged in online learning or engaged in classroom learning, when there's specifically technology involved, it goes into that the teacher is responsible for supervising the students are responsible for engaging in appropriate behavior, and that as we go through and we have to do an investigation, that would not necessarily be a search, because it would be part of a classroom discipline, part of the classroom process that would be happening. Using geolocation tools, that is a feature, but we do not use that. The only time we ever use that is if we're trying to track down a device, and the director of technology has the ability to locate a device using geolocation, if that would ever be a concern. And that's what that clause says in the policy. Those are the updates for the policies. Again, the trend of connecting the ability to do searches, keeping as there's an ever-changing world of online learning. Those are the updates to the policies there. Any questions on those? Okay. Moving on, we have the approval of a board resolution. This is a board resolution that is circulating. It's circulating particularly in Berks County, but it has kind of a broader reaching. This specific cyber charter resolution came from the BCIU. It came from the COLA organization, and it has ties back to the state level and working with all the we call them the P groups that represent the education firms in the state. Really, what this resolution is asking the state to do is to it initially outlines that the student rate for cyber charter for a non-special education student ranges anywhere from $21,000 to $44,000. It's a large amount. We know this is an issue. We know that there was an audit that occurred. We know that there's a flawed funding system here. The ask in this resolution is that the cyber charter's tuition rate would be limited to $10,000. And the governor's proposal had $8,000 in it. That didn't seem to be a realistic number. The realistic number, again, from the P groups that they think might have traction is the $10,000. So that's why the resolution has put the $10,000 in there. If the $10,000 was the cap, that would set an approximate annual savings of $300 million back throughout the state. And then it goes on to, as a final statement, that this uniform tuition rate will help address the growing financial burden of cyber charter schools within the Commonwealth. This is a growing issue. This is not the only resolution. There's a ton of House bills that are out there. There's a ton of Senate bills out there. There's a lot of attention on this, particularly as they hit a funding crisis at the state level, as well as come look at it from the audit perspective that was done on cyber charter. So right now there's one out there of echoing what the governor's proposal was of an $8,000 cap. There's another one that's getting a lot of traction, which is if you have your own cyber program, you would not have to pay at all for a student going to cyber charter. So a lot of buzz that's happening. Senator Schwenk had put that one together several years ago, and it didn't really, several times she put it together. One time it got some traction, but it never got to the finish line. I do believe that if there ever is going to be some kind of change that's substantial, it's going to be this year because of the audit. We shall see if there's enough political willpower to do it. So, Nicole, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, you noted a lot, really, what's going on statewide. But really to hone it into Brandywine specific, really our current rate for regular ed is 18,900. So really if they did the 10,000 cap, that would essentially cut it in half. Just looking at some quick numbers before the meeting, we have about, well, I don't want to say 13 and a half kids, but 13.4 FTEs currently enrolled, projected through the end of this year. And really that would save us about $120,000 if this would go through. So, I mean, kind of looking at the glass half full, if we really can't get increased state subsidy funding, if there's a way that they can cut costs, that would be beneficial. And obviously, if you cut charter school costs, there's really no burden to the state. And there's no revenue stream that they really have to make up for. So, we'll kind of see where it goes. As Mr. Pottinger alluded to, there's really a lot going on out there. I was at a PASBA meeting on Friday and heard a lot of similar stories. So time will tell.
Thank you. Typically, we don't do a ton of resolutions. We try not to get too political, but this is one that I think is fairly apolitical. It's an issue wherever you are. And so it's one that if you would approve this evening, it would be signed by Mr. Wagaman, to be signed by Mr. Huerco as the school board secretary. And then we will push that out to the representatives that do represent our school district. Any questions on that? We have next on here, item E, to approve the PSBA annual membership. The total cost would be $12,084.62. That includes the standard membership to be part of PSBA, and then there's an additional fee to have the policy feature connected to it, which gives us the legal updates. And then finally, F is to choose 2 individuals to be the voting delegates to the PSBA annual 2025 delegate assembly. That is going to be this coming fall on Tuesday, October 21st at 2:30. That is a fully in person, so it does not look like there's a hybrid. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's in person. It's at Kalahari too. It's not at the Mechanicsburg. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anyone that has the capacity to be able to do that and be a representative of the school district to go to Kalahari.
No, I can do it. I mean, I've
be
done
willing
it
to do it?
before. Yeah. I mean, I think it's strange though, this year it's on a Tuesday at 2:30. It's always been on a Saturday and it lasts for like an hour, and they've always been hybrid. The ones that I've done have always been hybrid, but yeah, no, I'll go. I will go slide down the water slide and everything. No, but it's interesting. But I think that the last one, there was so much like people wanting to talk online, and there was a lot of frustration, and there was, I think, a lot of strife between the members and why they probably pulled the online version off. Like nobody got to speak online. They just cut everybody off. So I'm guessing that's probably why they went specifically in person. So
Anyone else interested in attending? You able to go this year? No, that's okay. I just figured I'd ask because I know. Okay. Well, thank you very much for representing the school board. Appreciate that. So we'll fill in Mrs. Eisenhart, and we'll get rid of the "and" as voting delegate. That's all will appear in as we vote on this evening, and then it'll appear in the meeting minutes that way. Okay. With that, I'll turn it over for committee reports.
Okay, committee reports. BCIU, Mrs. Hume.
Good evening, everyone. The BCIU Board of Directors last met on Thursday, April 24th. I did submit the written report with a couple of highlights. There's just 2 things I wanted to call out. We received the legislative directory, and I think Mrs. Walliser, are you going to talk about this document from the COLA meeting or no? Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead. So this is a legislative directory that the BCIU puts together periodically as things change. If you're so interested or so inclined to do any advocacy with legislators, this really is a great roadmap in terms of helping understand who's who with contact information, and then also specifically like what regions they cover. So this is a free document, helpful if anybody wants it. I'm sure you could get it through the administration here. So useful tool. The other thing I wanted to quickly highlight, the BCIU, as you know, runs a Head Start program that has 30 classrooms. The news, if you will, that there's a possibility that federal funding would be pulled from the Head Start program around the country is obviously extremely disconcerting to public education and the BCIU in particular. So again, the BCIU serves children and families across 30 classrooms, 25 of which are funded through federal funds. The other 5 Head Start classrooms are funded through state programs. So if you're inclined legislatively, again, to advocate in support of folks deciding to continue to invest in young children's education, the BCIU would certainly appreciate your support. There is Pennsylvania School Boards Association 2025 Spring Advocacy Day, which is scheduled for next Tuesday, May 15th at the Capitol in Harrisburg. Again, anyone is welcome, and you can register through like mypsba.org, I think it is. Okay. Or you can get more information, I'm sure, from Andrew. That's the conclusion of my report. The next meeting of the BCIU Board of Directors will be held on Thursday, May 15th.
Thank you. BCTC, Mr. Reitmauer.
Good evening. BCTC met April 23rd at the West Campus. The health occupation students organized a successful blood drive with the partnership with Miller Keystone Blood Center. Their efforts resulted in collection of 40 units of blood, which will be used to help local patients in need. New student orientation is May 7th and May 8th. Senior recognition night is May 27th, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Santana Arena. May 23rd is an Act 80 day. May 26th is a holiday at BCTC. June 3rd is the last student day. The next meeting is May 28th at the East Campus. And I just want to make everyone aware I'm on the negotiations committee for BCTC, and we have a tentative agreement with the teachers, and I will be updating you next month on that. They also asked the 16 send-in school districts to do a survey on Dr. Stauffer, and I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that I give them all high remarks, and that's my conclusion.
Thank you.
Good evening. On Tuesday, April 8th, Ms. Del Guerco, Mr. Pottinger, and myself attended the COLA meeting at the IU. Mrs. Hannah Barrick, who is the Executive Director for PASBO, presented to us the current state of the Pennsylvania education budget. She is always full of lots of interesting knowledge, and things were changing as she was speaking. But one of the major takeaways from the presentation that affects us directly is the current distribution of education funding. Out of Pennsylvania's 500 school districts, they divided them into adequacy districts, and our district was not considered a designated adequacy district. The adequacy districts receive additional funding, and it was shared that statutorily they are guaranteed to receive no less than their current year's allocation in all future years. To put this in perspective, 96.7% of all new education funds will go directly to adequacy districts. Thus, the remaining 152 districts, including ours, will receive just 3% of that new funding. So there is a chart in our notes here, and there is more of a lot of great information in the PASBO presentation that Mr. Pottinger emailed to us. Mr. Pottinger, anything you'd like to add?
No, I was at the PARS conference, the Pennsylvania Rural Small Schools conference this past week, and Mrs. Barrick was there as well and presented a similar story. Their messaging shifted a little bit and pivoted in terms of, it seems like what they're advocating for is some districts are doing really well with adequacy, others are not, and so their messaging is more like how do we create whether it's BEF or it's adequacy or it's ready to learn, if one of those buckets are better for you, that they're trying to almost customize it for each district. I don't know if that'll ever get traction because that would be like almost impossible, but that's their current platform. So, but very similar messaging to what we had heard the other day at COLA. So thank you.
So those end of year gold meetings are occurring right now, and they will be presented. Is it that date in here correct? By the end of May.
Thank you. The floor is still yours for
And
negotiation.
nothing to report under negotiations.
Building and Construction Committee, Mr. Pottinger, I will turn it to you.
So most of the items are going to be approved tonight in the next section, the business and operations. Some updates on the press box. We have finally secured a bid that is palatable for the school district. The track and field surfacing has been completed. So those D zones, as we call them, if you think about the field as a rectangle and then the track around it, those two semicircles in each end have been paved. The final coat has been put on. The fence around the track is installed. The first round of macadam is put down already. We have a beautiful stone field. If anyone would like to play soccer in a stone field, still waiting on permits. That's kind of what's holding everything up at this point. There is an item that you'll see on here this evening for a change order to add a baseball security fence. It's basically to take our existing fence that's at the baseball dugout and raise it. So if there's foul balls, they're not going errantly onto the track during a competition or during practice. Additionally, switching gears a little bit, we have the woodshop greenhouse expansion. You'll see approvals for that this evening, but that has been a work in progress since last fall. And this is the budget numbers came in exactly where we thought they were going to come. So that is phenomenal news. I was very concerned about those being overinflated, and it came in right with what the budget was. And so that is going to be funded through fund balance, and there's dollars set aside for that. So that's great news. And then finally, you'll see an item on here about similar tonight for lighting for the intermediate middle school plaza that is coming to an end. The last piece is to add some light poles and electric to that. So that's going to be the final piece of that. So again, those will mostly be in the section this evening for approval. So that is the end of the a lot of moving parts, but that's the end of the construction report. Right.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Mr. Wagman, I apologize. I have one additional tidbit that I'd like to just mention. I sent board members a reminder email in case you haven't already. The BCIU board asks you to please vote as individual school directors from Brandywine. There are 6 sending school representatives whose terms on the BCIU board are renewing. And so they just look for full support from all districts and all board members. So if you could just hit that survey in email, literally it won't take you more than 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional?
Yes.
Mr. Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Hohenschuld?
Yes.
Mrs. Hune?
Yes.
Mr. Reitenauer?
Yes.
Mr. Sheets?
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Wallizer?
Yes.
Mr. Wagaman?
Yes.
And I
Motion and a second.
Good evening, everyone. This evening for the business operations report, we will start with the bills list and the financial reports. So item A, through this evening, we have the general fund bills totaling $924,912.91. The food service fund bills totaling $44,369. The construction fund totaling $44,811. During this period, we had no capital reserve fund bills. You will see that start to transition over as we are spending the remainder of the bond money. So we'll close out a lot of the construction fund checking accounts and start to utilize capital reserve funds. Item E, to accept the financial reports through both February and March. Item 1 is the general fund. You'll see 2 attachments there. 2 is food service. 3 is construction fund. 4 is capital reserve. 5 is the investment schedules. 6 is student activity and trust funds. And then as of this time, we have no budget transfers to report. So moving on to special ed and pupil services, we have a lot of agreements coming up for either ESY, which occurs during the summer, or for the 25-26 school year. Item 1 is to approve an agreement with the Anderson School for student placement and additional services, if needed, at Explorations PHP for the 25-26 school year at a tuition cost of $149 per day. That's up $14 a day from the prior year, or 24-25 that we're in now. Item 2 is to approve the ESY tuition agreement with LinkedIn Literacy for structured learning instruction using the Wilson Reading System and our Orton Gillingham during the summer for June 4th to August 15th at a cost of $128.75 per hour. There is no increase to that fee from the current arrangement. Item 3 is to approve the ESY agreement with Therapy Source for speech services beginning July 1 at $84.05 per hour, up $1.05 per hour as attached. Item 4 is to approve the tuition agreement with Hogan Learning Center out of Fleetwood for August 18th of 25 through August 14th of 26, first district student at a cost of $520 per day per student. That is up about $30 per day from the prior year. Item 5 is to approve an agreement with Keystone Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service out of Wyomissing for interpreter services at a cost of $58 per hour, no cost increase. So the next one is it's essentially an addendum from the current, or an extension of the current agreement, but approve an additional 1 year, July 1, 25 to June 30th, 26 with GHR Education, as we refer to them, out of Bluebell to provide nursing services as needed. Rates are up $2 per hour. I do want to note, as we're approving these, a lot of them are personnel services. Obviously, there are slight increases, but if you really take into consideration the increase of our benefits to our employees, I think we did a really nice job of negotiating these increases. They're pretty nominal. So I think kudos to Mandy on that one. The next one, item 7, is to approve an Act 48 program agreement for services for alternative education for disruptive youth with River Rock Academy for the 25-26 school year, with a principal place of operations out of the Sinking Spring campus and Amity campus out in Douglasville. The per diem rate is basically outlined in the particular services in the attached agreement. Item 8, we're essentially approving it, but we currently have no student placed there, but for the 25-26 school year, should we need it, River Rock Academy out of Sinking Springs, the private licensed secondary special ed 7 through 12 program or the AEDY program at a per diem rate of $266 per day, and also the River Rock Academy Amity Campus Private Academy Elementary Program. That's a lot. Or the AEDY program at a per diem rate of $286 per day. The next one, a little bit of back history. Typically, the district has done 3-year agreements for both dental services and also physicals for students. We had tried to solicit rates for a 3-year term. We were unable to do so. Most people, just with staffing shortages, were not willing to commit. We currently have an agreement with St. Luke's. They were willing to essentially provide us rates for an additional year. So here you will see we are approving 1 year at this time. We'll continue to work with them and see if we can, come to an arrangement for a longer term. But for the 25-26 school year, the rate per physical is $23, and then the hourly rate for other services would be $62. Shifting gears to curriculum and technology, we're asking you to approve the agreement for PIMS submission support services for the 25-26 school year. This is a continuation of our arrangement with the BCIU at a rate of $125 per hour, but at a cost not to exceed $10,000. This is an increase of $25 per hour for a total of $2,000 from the 24-25 school year. So a little bit of back history on that. We used to have a consultant that would do this, and then she sort of moved on from that arrangement. So this year was our first year, and I think next year, really as we get to know each other, it'll be a smoother transition and really develop into a great partnership. So the next one is to approve the 5-year lease agreement with Fraser Partnership Plan for copier services beginning July 1 until June 30 of 2030. This agreement is for a partial refresh of our copiers. The new arrangement will save the district $165.44 per month for a total savings of just shy of $10,000 over the course of the contract. So if you do recall, we did go out to RFP for copier services. We essentially rejected all those RFPs and were able to come to an arrangement with our current provider through a cooperative arrangement. And really thank you to Carly and her team and also Nimble for, really vetting out our current systems and seeing where we could find some efficiencies and come to a better arrangement. So item 3 is to approve an agreement with Imagine Learning Ingenuity for the 25-26 school year. This is for the Virtual Academy online curriculum for instructional services at a cost of $260 a semester per course per student and $130 per quarter per course per student. And this is no change from the prior year, and also online curriculum grades K through 5 with instructional services and workbooks at a cost of $1,100 for a full-time seat. And also the 2025 summer school at a cost of $175 per course per student, and that's for the secondary level. The next one, we are asking you to ratify an affiliation agreement between Albright College and the school district, permitting the placement of qualified Albright students at district sites for student teaching experiences at no cost to the district. And this is a 5-year arrangement that recently just began on April 14th and will continue for the next 5 years. The next one is to approve the 25-26 dual enrollment agreement between RAC and the school district as attached. And then kind of moving on to facilities maintenance, as Mr. Pottinger alluded to, we do have some change orders. The first one is a change order. This is the third one with Schlau for a total of $18,724. This is associated with the multi-use building, also known as press box, to really do the concrete work and install the footer and foundation. The next one is to ratify the change order with Ace Electric for the to do the wiring for the press box and provide connection to the scoreboard. A little bit back history on that one. We could have had the scoreboard company, and also when we did the lighting, have them do the electrical work, but it was actually cheaper to go through Ace Electric via a change order. So that was kind of pre-planned. The next one is to do a change order with Schlau related to the extension of the baseball field fence for safety reasons. A question was asked, was this a concern before? Well, we never really had to use the track previously, but obviously as they're building it now and obviously baseball's playing, they do see that the foul balls are going over there. So to help prevent any issues in the future, we're asking you to approve that fence. And then items 4 and 5, these are related to the intermediate middle school plaza. Item 4 is to purchase the poles and fixtures to complete the lighting at a cost of $7,538.10 as attached. And then the next one is to have Bieber Electric install it for a total cost of $10,456.89. If you recall, last summer, this was a project and we essentially had an ad deduct. We chose not to go with lighting or the poles and having them install the electric, knowing that we could do it at a future date for a better price. But from a budgetary process, this is coming out of the capital reserve. That's part of that 5-year plan. We had 20,000 budgeted, and this is coming in just shy of 18,000. So there's some good news there. The next one, this is the second iteration. As you recall, we rejected the initial RFP for the multi-use building. For the second time, we did have 2 vendors supply bids. So we're asking you to go with the lowest bidder, Kraus Construction, in the amount of $73,550. And their estimated completion date is by August. The next one is still at the high school, but on a separate project. This is the wood shop and greenhouse expansion project. Some of it is grant funded, and other will be funded via capital reserve. Asking you to award the prime contractors electrical. We're asking you to approve Ace Electric for a total award of $125,500. General is Uri Construction, total of $924,000. And we're asking you to approve the alternate, which is a concrete slab for a future, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but go ahead.
A cistern, which would be a water collection tank that would come up, so rain would catch on the high school roof, pull into the cistern that could be used to water or irrigate plants in the greenhouse.
So we're asking you to approve that should we decide to go that direction. That's one of those, when we get closer, we'll see what the pricing looks like and see if it's something that we can do ourselves or our students could do. But if we need the concrete pad, that would be $2,200. The next one is the mechanical, Vision Mechanical of $99,530. And the last one of the 4 prime contracts that we have to award was plumbing. There was no bids submitted, so we are not awarding that at this time. So we'll continue to work with contractors and see if we can come to find the best vendor that would be able to provide those services. The next one, item I, is to approve the second extension to the current agreement and addendum with Substitute Teacher Services effective July 1 of 25 through June 30th, 26. Just to note, this agreement was eligible for 2 one-year extensions. So this is the second extension. So at the end of next year, we'll have to go out to RFP. And the last one is really the big one this evening is we are asking you to approve the 25-26 general fund proposed final budget totaling $36,977, $105.92. As previously agreed upon at the last budget meeting, this includes the 2% tax increase. So a total millage of 36.9794 as attached. Some notables in here. As required by the state and the Act 1 timeline, we do have to give 30-day notice to the public. So in the Reading Eagle tomorrow, we'll have a newspaper ad saying this is available for public inspection. It will be on the website. And obviously, if somebody wants a hard copy, they're more than welcome to come get one. It will also be submitted to the state after this evening within 5 days to let them know where we're at. So from a financial standpoint, there are some handouts, but I think the one that we really do want to look at is we were talking about the impact to our, our taxpayers. So it's roughly about a $78 increase to the taxpayers. So you'll see kind of the overall deficit, but you'll see the gross budgetary impact. You'll see that $78.22. It might be all the way at the end of your packets. Last 2 pages. So you'll see the preliminary deficit, the 423,000. And then if you go to the next page, I'm sorry, it's 2-sided. If you flip it, the gross impact is $78.22. And that is without any homestead farmstead allocation. We did have an increase in funding, which is gambling proceeds. So apparently gambling is doing well in Pennsylvania. So that's a plus for us. But if you flip over to the last page, I think this is really probably the most impactful one, is although we're doing a 2% tax increase with the increase in the homestead farmstead exemption, which is for most homeowners in the district, our families, the average annual increase is $17.50 on average. So if you break that down per month, it's $1.46 of a tax increase. So that's really where we're at now. Obviously, should things change at the state level, we can always reevaluate. We have 30 days, a little longer than 30 days. We have till June 9th. But this is really where we're at from a budget standpoint. And that's all I have.
That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm good. We're good.
The second biggest one followed by next month, right?
Yes.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Wagman, I have 2 questions. Let's see, page 5, under number 9, the agreement with St. Luke's Physician Group to provide the school physician. the rate per physical, $23. Can you just clarify, Ms. Del Guerco, who pays that $23? The student or the district on behalf of the student?
So this is not athletic physicals, just full disclosure. This is physicals that we provide to our students, and Mrs. Kircher will be able to provide exactly what grades, but we are required to provide them and we pay them on behalf of the students.
So depending on the needs of students, like if we have some students that are in a homeless situation and those families need services, that's something that we reach out to the school physician for. Additionally, anything through the access services, those families also have that opportunity. If families reach out to the health room office because they opt to not go to their regular family care provider, then that's when our offices schedule school physicals at set times in fall for those families.
Okay, so it's not like the entire student body. It's a very narrow
Correct.
population
We open it up
that's
and let-
regulated.
We send a communication out saying that physicals are due by this date. And if you have a hard time scheduling that with your PCP, then you can reach out to our school nurse team and you have to complete the paperwork and stuff required. So we're looking at about 50 students per year that we typically offer physicals to on average.
And we have our expert here, Mrs. Garinger, who is our school nurse. But I believe it's when you enter school, it's
Kindergarten, sixth grade.
6th grade and 11th grade. So those are the grade spans that have to happen.
And that's required by the state that we have to see that they're getting medical care at those points during their education.
And I would say between physicals and dental services, because they really used to, their contracts used to align. It's only a couple $1,000s. Like it's 2,000-3,000 max. It's not a huge amount.
And that school physician also approves our district standing orders and any prescriptions and things that the health room nurses need to have on hand. They are the ones that are writing the prescriptions for that so that they can be ordered.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification. And then I have a question about the multi-use building bid. So this is page 6, item number 7, approving the following prime awards. So for electrical, there were 2 bids received. Denny's was in this, Denny's Electric was in the 60,000-ish range. But they didn't send someone to the bid opening meeting or whatever critical meeting, and therefore they disqualified themselves. So the second bid is what we're proposing to accept at more than double the cost. So we're talking about $60,000 or $65,000 of incremental expense to accept ACE. Because Denny's didn't come to a important meeting. So can you help us clarify? Because that's a really expensive penalty on ourselves that our rules disqualify them for not coming. Like, did they have a reason not to come? Why do we have that rule in place? And is it really worth the extra $65,000 to enforce that rule?
So I had a similar thought process and was very frustrated as well. So and I'll let Mr. Pratt be the legal person that he is so good at. Essentially what a mandatory pre-bid meeting does, and it goes both ways. It can penalize you like it did here, or it can help you. So what it essentially does is it forces the contractor, especially in a big project, to walk through and really get a good understanding of what is going on in this project, so that they're not missing any of the details. And if you don't do that, sometimes, not saying this would be the case, but it could be a low bid and then they miss stuff and then they'll try to hit you for change orders because it wasn't in their eyes clear in the language. And so you get into this then fight about contract language. That's what it's there to protect you for, to make sure that both whoever is bidding is equal partners, aside from the papers that they're bidding on, the actual walkthrough in the meeting. That's the gist of it. In this case, and usually what it does is it equalizes the playing field then, and you have bids that are very similar. In this case, they're so far apart, it's very hard pill to swallow. So, Mr. Pratt, I will let you.
Mr. Pottinger is correct in regard to the rationale for having these mandatory meetings. Also, the way that your bids are written, I'm sorry, your RFPs are written, the words shall is used. So therefore, if Denny's Electric did not show up and Ace Electric did, Ace could sit there and say, well, it says what you are required to be there. They did not show up. That's an integral part of the RFP. And thus Ace could challenge that selection. So it's more of a number one, a requirement that the group comes and looks at the project, so you don't have any change orders that may come through. And especially with a project like this, because you are using an existing building, you're looking at renovations. You need to make sure that they're looking at the appropriate areas, and therefore you want to make sure they do that so that they can't come back and say we didn't know. So that's a key element in any construction project. If this was a brand new project, a lot of times you don't have walkthroughs because you started from ground up. So it's to protect us as a district for those situations, and by making those requirements and making it fair, making that sure that everybody has to do the same thing.
No, I think you covered it. I think the only other part that is really missing is the missing plumbing piece. So really kind of in consultation and guidance from Mr. Pratt and Acela, we've really done our due diligence by going out to bid, and obviously no one submitted a bid. So now we're really going to try to solicit a qualified vendor that really still meets all the criteria of doing construction for a school district, and finding them so we can move forward with the process. But we'll get our 3 quotes and probably come back to you in June and say, hey, this is who we recommend.
Appreciate that. And that all makes sense. Focusing in on the electric piece, can we provide some information about why Denny's didn't show? Like, did they call and say car trouble? Did they say, hey, you know what, we bid this, but we realized we're out of our league and we don't want the project, so we're going to be a no-show? Any insight that you could share, because I'm not comfortable saying yes to Ace's bid, knowing that it's double, without really better understanding why are these bids so far apart, and did Denny's lowball it? Like, what is going on here? Because this is not normal.
Great question. Go over anything like that.
And
in my opinion, they weren't necessarily really trying to get it for whatever reason. Maybe they were overworked. They said, just throw it in there, we'll see what happens. Nobody else pays, we'll get it, or we won't get it. But I think it's just mud of the wall.
Or they knew they could make more with the change orders and with the correct scope once they blocked the project.
Also, in my experience, when a contractor does not supply the required documents as well, I'm also skeptical when you don't supply a bond. That is an automatic red flag. I probably wouldn't have approved it if I knew all those aspects as well too.
Yeah, I think Denny's focuses more on the commercial space than the municipal space, frankly. But so knowing that the engineer estimated 128,000, is that engineering estimate available to the companies that bid? Okay, so we know, we hold that information close. We bid it, we receive bids, and we're the only ones really, until the bids are open and until we start sharing information, that can acknowledge this bid is close to what we anticipated it to be.
Correct.
Okay.
Cost estimates for the different primes are not public at all. They were held between the seller and us.
Okay. All right. So I'm sensing that other folks are acknowledging that the ACE Electric bid is realistic and fair and not to be judged against clearly not complete and perhaps purposefully lowball competitors bid. That's what I'm sensing. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the discussion. Yeah, I mean, if it were me, I don't know if legally can we negotiate at all, because this is now public information. So ACE knows, like, are we able to say, hey, ACE, cut us a solid and charge us 110 or
No.
100? We have,
No, it's the reason why you have public bidding. You're not over budget where you would go and have those conversations, but no, you can't. go
Okay,
back.
so
that's
once
the whole
we-
purpose of having a bidding process.
okay, so once we open the bid and consider it a valid, reasonable bid, we're obligated to accept it as presented.
As long as it is a lowest responsible bidder, you could reject all of them and rebid, but now you're putting your project behind the timeline. But for that to happen, you'd have to reject all bids.
Not just the electric bid, the whole package. Because we just
Right.
we didn't reject plumbing, we didn't receive plumbing. The
Right.
difference. Yeah.
You'd have to reject that electrical, but yet you'd have to reject all of them and then rebid. And that's not, I can guarantee you that you're not going to get the same bid that you have now. It'll probably be more.
Okay.
Because now they know what your budgeted number is.
Well, yeah, so now we're not holding that engineering number.
Also, costs
close
go
to our
up.
vest.
Costs go up in construction every month. I don't care. Right now and so you're seeing a lot of different numbers coming in, and I would not be surprised you'd see a higher number at this point in time.
Appreciate the discussion. Thank you.
Mr. Hohenschultz,
Yes.
Mrs. Heern,
Yes.
Mr. Reitenour,
Yes.
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallizer,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mr. Wagman,
Yes.
9 yeas, the motion carried.
All right. Superintendent report. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion right now.
Second, Stubitz. All right, just one item under superintendent's report this evening is to approve the extended school year program. That's going to run from July 7th to July 24th. We've kind of talked about this already. It's going to run in tandem with the Camp Spark, which you did approve. This is the special education component of it. It's ESY, it is required. This year so far, we have 48 students that have signed up for that. That's actually one of our highest enrollments of ES special education students interested in participating. So that's a great thing. So that's the only item under superintendent's report. Any questions?
All right. They get a roll call.
Mr. Hohenschultz,
Yes.
Mrs. Heern,
Yes.
Mr. Reitenour,
Yes.
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mr. Hefner,
Yes.
Mr. Wagman,
Yes.
sorry, Mrs. Wallizer.
Yes.
Sorry about that. 9 yeas, the motion passes.
All right. Personnel report. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion right now.
Second, Stubitz. Sorry.
The remaining length of the meeting depends on you.
It does. We have one resignation of a long-term substitute who is a math, as well as going to get a special education program. So unfortunately, he was a great person, but he took a different position. So we have his resignation. We have a change of status. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to preface this with all these staff members are excited about these moves. All these staff members wanted these moves. So, because there's some interesting ones. But we have Mrs. Bieber, who's going to go from middle school 6th grade to elementary 3rd grade learning support. Mrs. Nicole Smith, who's currently a kindergarten teacher with us, that's going to go into the 2nd grade opening with Mrs. Rissmiller's retirement this evening. We have the Miss Mackenzie Kistler, who did us a big favor and taught middle school 8th grade learning support this past year. She's going to go to elementary kindergarten and backfill for that Nicole Smith, who is the current kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Levengood is currently K-5 gifted. She's going to continue K-5 gifted, but she's going to pick up Mrs. Womack, who we also talked about this evening as a retirement, is half-time STEM. Mrs. Levengood is going to pick up the other half-time of that STEM. And then we have Mrs. Ricky Savage, who's currently middle school reading and English. She's going to transition to the high school and be the business teacher for the retirement of Mrs. Pristash. We will not be backfilling that position. So that is a staff savings with Mrs. Savage. So that is the changes that are happening with our current staff. Again, all these folks are excited about it. They know about it. They wanted those changes. We have also the appointment of C1A today of Mrs. Ava Schaller. She is the recommended candidate for the replacement of Mrs. Lori Savage, a longtime kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Savage, Mrs. Pristash, Mrs. Fodor are all going to be retiring in the fall officially, but we're working to get them replaced now so we have a full slate of new staff for the full year. So she is several candidates that we had interviewed, many candidates we had interviewed through that process with Ms. Kelly. She stood out as the finalist as the new kindergarten teacher. The next items, item C1B, item C1C, item 2 are all connected to ESY. So we have the ESY teachers in there. We have Mrs. Leah Gariner, who I acknowledged earlier. She is our wonderful certified school nurse, as well as our also school nurses, Mrs. Dawn Harkala and Mrs. Meredith Rader. They're all kind of the compilation of staff for ESY as well as Camp Spark. Item C2B is to approve Mrs. Dawn Harkala. She's an RN to be the school nurse for next year. She is going to be the kind of the replacement position for Mrs. Fodor when she retires next fall. So she's a parent in the school district, has been subbing for us, has been doing a phenomenal job. We're excited to be able to bring her on as a full-time employee. We have Mr. Adam Baker to be the building and grounds summer worker. And then we have 16 students that have expressed interest in being seasonal summer works as we hire our students to do work for the school district over the summer. And I know there was a question about this. It seems a lot more than there normally is. It is. We actually had more than this that had applied, which is a great thing. This has picked up a lot of interest. In the beginning, there was just a couple students. It has gained interest last year and this year in particular. There are 10 that are budgeted, but with change of moving parts with vacations, some students don't work every day. Some students only work 8 hours of the 4 days instead of 10 hours. It all levels out to be the budgeted 10 students that we had. So we're hiring 16, but really it fits within the budget of the 10. Additionally, there used to be a SWEEP program. That's a special education program that in lieu of ESY, they would go do job training skills. It's primarily for high school students. That program is no longer funded or minimally funded. So we don't have any students going to that this coming year. And so we have actually a couple of these students that are on this list were formerly part of the SWEEP program that we're going to be hiring as student workers over the summer and still give them those life skill training pieces connected to that. So we're excited to be able to offer that as well. So there's a lot of moving parts with this, but I thank the board for this because this is a great opportunity for our kids. It's a great opportunity to get them employed and it helps us out tremendously. So that is the summer worker piece of it. We also have the approval of a new co-curricular position. This is a nurse coordinator. So previously we would have 2 full-time certified school nurses. This current year, it's Mrs. Gariner as well as Mrs. Fodor that would cover the 3 buildings within the school district. We're going to be moving that to 1 certified school nurse That certified school nurse has more responsibilities than some of the other school nurses, the RN and LPN, just because of the title, the certified school nurse. They have to do a lot of state mandated state reportings that have to happen on an annual basis, as well as a host of other things. This person really will become the lead nurse for the entire school district, working with schedules, working with overseeing all the students. And so we're asking to create a stipend for that, $2,500. You can see what is responsible for it in that nurse coordinator job description there. But it's a great way to kind of blend, allow us to have one school certified school nurse. As a side, it's very hard to find certified school nurses right now. We were lucky to find Mrs. Garringer 2 years ago. They're very far and few between. So to be able to do this and have kind of a backfill of RN and LPNs is our strategy. This is a nice way to be able to balance all that out. We have athletic workers as well as volunteer recommendations as an item here. We also have to ratify 2 employees, one for 1 unpaid day, another one for 2 unpaid days. Those are both for illnesses, sicknesses that they don't have any days anymore. We also have the approval of mentor positions. So on the back, the last page, page 10, we have 3 staff members that are going to be serving as mentors for 3 reading specialist interns. And then we have Mrs. Emily Adams, who's going to be the mentor for Mrs. Mackenzie Kissler. That's going to be moving into that kindergarten role, as well as Mrs. Carrie Deersa, who's going to be the mentor for our new hire, Miss Ava Schaller, in that kindergarten role. We have the approval of guest teachers. Guest teachers are individuals that have a bachelor's degree, but are not trained to be a teacher per se, but come and sub for us. They go through a certification course to learn how to be a teacher, and they get approved as a day-to-day substitute. So our guest teachers, we primarily work through the BCIU to get them trained. This is the list of guest teachers. There was a question, is it 24 or 25, especially at the end of the year? This is really, should almost be a ratification, but it's the approval of those names to be the guest teachers for this current year. And then the final piece is to approve the job descriptions for assistant principal positions. We have a job description for assistant principal, but there are additional duties. So the intermediate middle school assistant principal has the extra duty of wellness coordinator, and the high school assistant principal has the extra duty of school safety security coordinator. In 2019-20 school year, our assistant principals were 11-month employees. We switched them to 12-month employees that school year, and then added these responsibilities on as they became requirements at the state level. Those requirements have continued to grow. And so really that's the genesis of why we put in specific job descriptions of, if you're a new assistant principal, really spelling out what does it mean to be the wellness coordinator, or what does it mean to be the school safety coordinator, security coordinator, because those roles have really changed over the course of time based off of law, based off of new state requirements. And so that's really the emphasis of why we created 2 separate job descriptions for these assistant principal roles. Both of those, the wellness coordinator and the safety security coordinator, have to be an administrative role. That's in the state law. So when we parse out the administrative team we have, it kind of is a justification for doing that. So hopefully that makes sense. Any questions on personnel? It's a lot of stuff in personnel today.
I would rate the request that we would separate section C, number 2, lowercase d. Pull that one out, vote on that one separately, please.
That's the student workers.
Can I dissect that more? Can I dissect that more? No, you don't want to. We'll just take the whole section out.
Okay with everyone?
So let me just go back here. Mr. Reitenauer, you made the motion. Mr. Stupid, second. Are you guys okay if we vote on that separate? We'll just adjust the motion amendment then.
Yep, sure.
Okay. So when we do the meeting minutes, we'll add that to the motion.
All right. So can I get a roll call for the personnel report for everything except for 2D?
Yes. Mrs. Here?
Yes.
Mr. Reitenour,
Yes.
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallizer,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mr. Hefner, Mr. Hohenschult,
Yes.
Mr. Wagaman,
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
and
Okay. Now we need a separate roll call for C2D.
Yes. So can we get a separate roll call for C2D?
Sounds like May the 4th be with you.
That was yesterday.
Mr. Reitenour,
Well, I have a question. Like, I'm yes for everybody but my daughter because I feel like it's inappropriate for me to vote for her.
Abstain. Just abstain.
Okay, abstain.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheets,
Abstain.
Mr. Stubitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallizer,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mr. Hefner,
Yes.
Mr. Hohenschult,
Yes.
Mrs. Sears,
Yes.
Mr. Wagaman,
Yes.
7 yeas, 2 abstains, the motion. carries.
All right, thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the public? I do need to announce that we had an executive session prior to tonight's meeting in regards to negotiations, safety and security, and we will have a executive session after the meeting in regards to personnel. With all of that being said, I get a motion and a second for adjournment.
Motion. Second.
Bang it down.
Get us up.
We'll go back to my comment. There are some great snacks and